Are you using digital currencies like Bitcoin, Dash, or others? Very important to keep those secure and back them up in a hard wallet. To find out about that, I talk with a man who knows this subject real well. His name, Juan Galt. Digital currencies are changing our world, and it's important to know how to take care of them. Right now, we see there's a lot of opportunities for people to get involved with digital currencies, Bitcoin, Dash, Ethereum, and many others. But just having all of those stored in one device, like on your smartphone, not a good idea. And our guest today is an expert on this. He is going to tell us about why we need to do that. His name is Juan Galt, and he joins us from his offices there in Acapulco, Mexico. Juan, welcome aboard.
Hi, thank you for having me.
It is great to have you here because I know you've been working with cryptocurrencies and doing a lot with digital. You've taught me a lot. And matter of fact, you've helped me in a big way with this thing that we're going to talk about more called a hardware wallet. And so as we get started in this, for someone who is just getting into Bitcoin or Dash or digital currencies of some type on the blockchain, tell us what a hardware wallet is and why something like that is important.
Right, so a hardware wallet is usually a USB type device on some specialized custom design hardware to help you protect your Bitcoin password, okay?
Okay, yeah, that looks like a regular USB device we plug into our computer.
Yeah, that's right. It uses a chip similar to those used by credit card cards, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it sort of plugs into the USB, and the whole point is that if you can keep the password offline or in a very secure space, then you're safe, right? And that is basically the main means by which people protect their Bitcoins is if anybody knows your password, they can take your Bitcoin. So you don't want anybody to know your password unless you trust them with that kind of knowledge, right? And there's a whole industry that's growing about how to protect your Bitcoin. And so this is kind of like the next step in ease of use and security as to where we are today, which is cryptocurrency hardware wallets.
Okay. So what you're saying is we're taking our Bitcoin and are the actual Bitcoins stored on that device? Can it hold only so many? Help us on this as we're getting into the world of digital and how that works.
Yeah, it's fascinating. So you can hold as many Bitcoins as you want in one Bitcoin hardware wallet or one Bitcoin wallet. It's infinite, as many as there is. There's 21 million Bitcoin. Right. That can ever be. Right now in the market, there's about like maybe 17 million, 16 million. And you could hold all of them in one key if you had them, right? So there's no limits there. Yeah.
Okay, so that's there. So tell us how that physically works. So we say, okay, I've got some Bitcoin. I've gone on there, and it's all on my phone right here. So I've got everything on the phone, set up the wallet on the phone. Get that. How do we go about backing it up, making it safe, and what are the steps we go through on that?
Sure. Well, it's very similar to email when you think about it. You have a public address, as it's sort of called in Bitcoin, which is very much like your email address, which you can give to people and they know how to contact you. They know how to get information to you. Well, Bitcoin gives you public addresses, which you send to people and they can deposit money to your account, right? Now, if you want to actually send money from your account, just as you like to sort of send an email to a friend, you need to actually have the password to your Bitcoin wallet, okay? And this is where it gets important to think about security because unlike email, with email, you can send an email, and usually emails are not that high risk. Like if you send an email with typos or you send it to the wrong person, unless it's very sensitive information, you'll probably be okay. But with Bitcoin, once it's sent, you have about 10 minutes to do something about it. Otherwise, it's gone, and usually there's not really anything you can do about it. So once you send it, it's on the other person's wallet and control. And it's, if they're nice and if you made a mistake, they can give it back to you if they're nice, right? And so it's important not only to sort of understand that kind of aspect of Bitcoin, that control in a sense is ownership in Bitcoin. And so controlling your password is ownership in Bitcoin in a sense, right? But also that if anybody has your password, then they can actually move your money, right? And so it's a kind of new way of sort of building money and building societies on top of information systems. And it has a lot of benefits, right? For example, you can memorize a passphrase in your head, and you can you can travel the world with $1 million in a passphrase in your head, because Bitcoin lives on information. It's an information system, right? So it gives you a great deal of freedom, and people would not even know that you have Bitcoin in your head with current technology, right? And hopefully ever, right? So that's the kind of thing that Bitcoin enables, but it also comes with responsibility, because once you're not trusting a bank to protect your money anymore, you're trusting yourself. You have to kind of learn it and how to protect your Bitcoin. And it's not very difficult, but it does have somewhat of a learning curve. And this is sort of part of the process of adapting to a new, huge disruptive technology. And hardware wallets are one of the best solutions for protecting your Bitcoins with minimum sort of learning curve and a lot of easy use.
Yeah, that makes sense. So we've got that. So would you say we would physically carry the Bitcoin wallet with us? We'd carry this somewhere if we're traveling internationally or so, wherever we go?
Yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of ways that you could do it. And that's one of the beautiful things. It's a lot of freedom in it. But yeah, you can carry a USB device around you. And to my knowledge, authorities have no idea what this is. I mean, it looks like a USB device, right? So that wouldn't be a problem. You can
Except now that they're watching it on video, they will know.
Hopefully, I don't have that much hope as to their technological sort of adeptness, right? They'll catch on in a couple of years maybe, but I mean, they might know at some point, and they might start looking out for this at some point. And if they do, you could simply just leave it at home, right? Or just sort of carry a passphrase in your head as you cross borders, and then just buy another hardware wallet where you land, and then just move it back to your hardware wallet. That's...
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense. So now it would also seem like, tell me what your thoughts are on this, it would be good to have not just one, because if we're putting all of our Bitcoins or whatever we have on there, if we lose that one, it seems like we could be in trouble, and it would be a good idea to put them in different places, is what I'm thinking. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, so this is kind of touches on an important topic, which is backups, Bitcoin wallet backups. And I actually have a story that's kind of educational for this, and it's a bit of a Bitcoin sob story. It's a sad Bitcoin story, but a lot of people have these because Bitcoin is such a new thing, right? So I got into Bitcoin in 2011, and the price was like $7 at the time. So I put like, I don't know, 150 to 200 bucks into it. Got 8 Bitcoin, right? Something like that. I definitely 8 Bitcoin, and I was like, okay, cool, I have Bitcoin. But back in the day, nobody talked about backups. And this is what I'm going to sort of tell you a little bit about it if you haven't heard of it, which is basically making a second copy of your password and putting it somewhere safe, somewhere that you can sort of rely on if your computer fails or if your Android gets stolen or lost, right?
Yeah, kind of on the shelf over there somewhere. You got that one notebook that does have your password written out.
Exactly. I mean, you could put it in a vault in a bank. You could give it to your mom. You could make a copy, like you could encrypt it and give half of the copy to somebody, half the copy to the other people. I mean, there's a lot of options, right? But yeah, at the end of the day, you just need an extra copy that you can go back to if the first one fails. And so I actually forgot to do this, and then I ended up like reinstalling Windows on my hardware, and the keys, like basically like I have half the password now, so I can't move the money. So, yeah, so it's very important to have a backup, right? And it's okay, everybody has, I bought in, and it keeps going up, and it'll keep going up probably, right? And so I'm good, but it's sort of it just kind of shows the importance of a Bitcoin backup. And with hardware wallets, what you can do is once you go through the installation process, it actually tells you, like, it gives you a passphrase, and it's very clear with you. It's like, listen, we're going to show you the passphrase. If anybody sees this, they can take your money, they can move your money. So it's important that this is sort of a trusted computer, or that you're offline, or that nobody else is around you that you don't want to see the password wallet, right? And different hardware wallets have different ways of doing that, but that's the process. Then you write down the passphrase and you put it in a safe space, and that's it. So if you lose your hardware wallet, you can just go back to that passphrase and restore it to multiple Bitcoin software wallets, or a new hardware wallet if you like.
That's very important. Let me make sure we're understanding that. You're saying that that hardware wallet you have in your hand there, if for whatever reason you lost it, or it was damaged, that can happen, damage, or someone steals it. Or so what could you do? What steps would you go through then to restore it so that you make sure, hey, you can still get your Bitcoin back, even though they've stolen your physical USB hardware wallet?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it depends which hardware wallet you have. All major hardware wallet manufacturers have plenty of how-to guides, right? So if you did run into that problem, if you Google it and look up the name, there's going to be guys that will walk you through every step of how to restore your Bitcoin in a different wallet, right? And all wallets, or most Bitcoin wallets, sort of speak the same language. So in general, it's not, you can just move it to another wallet, right? And there will be sort of very specific sort of instructions as to how to do it. The hardware wallets that we handle, like cryptohwwallet.com, are the top in the industry, recommended by bitcoin.org, bitcoin.com, right? So these are the best in the industry, okay? So they have very specific steps, right? But the basic process is you either get a new software wallet that understands, the language of your hardware wallet, or you just get a new hardware wallet of the same kind. You plug it into your computer and you tell it that you want to restore your Bitcoin wallet. And so it'll be like, okay, great. What's the master seed? What's the password, the passphrase, right? And so you just type it in and it'll restore the Bitcoin from that password. And then you'll have your Bitcoin again.
Ah, very good. Now, you mentioned a phrase there that's very important that I've been learning about as I'm growing in my knowledge of Bitcoin, getting a chance to know about blockchain and digital currencies and all this, the seed and the chain of words that they have. Tell me what that is and what's going on there with all these different words they give you and you need to write them down and all that. Help us on that.
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, there's a few terms used to describe the same thing, which is seed or master seed or master passphrase. And then I use the word password because it's sort of familiar to people. But with all those words, I mean the same thing. And usually people mean the same thing, which is the password that protects your Bitcoin. And it's usually 12 to 24 words that are randomly generated by your computer. And you can actually generate them yourself if you wish, and add them to the hardware wallet or the software wallet in certain cases, certain implementations. And then that's basically where your Bitcoin lives, right? It lives in that secret.
So it lives there. So it would be a good idea to go through, and if you could memorize it, which a lot of memory experts show us, so we can do that easily, 24 words, or it might be less than that. And those are actual words like car, dog, truck, or whatever. Those are the words that would be used, and they're put in a random order. And I remember when I was getting my wallet and putting it in there, the one that I got from you, I bought from you just recently, and it's worked really, really well. I would go through, okay, and it asked me for the number or the name on like number 1 and number 7 or something like that, and I had to write each word into a specific phrase for 24 very carefully chosen words. And then I just said, word number 1 is this, and word number 5 or whatever it was is this, and that way it recognized, okay, then this really is Terry, and I was able to get in. And it seemed like it'd be important to remember those, or write them down in a special place and maybe put it in that little tomato can on the ground where no one else is going to look or see. Would that be a good procedure to take?
Yeah, you can bury them in a hole somewhere in your house. You could put them under your mattress. You put them in a vault. You can do all kinds of things. So it kind of becomes like old school sort of pirate sort of movies where you go and hide the treasure somewhere and there's a map, right? Like, you can do stuff like that, right? Or whatever you think is sort of best for your current situation or whatever, right? You can look it up too. I'm sure there's plenty of different strategies and stories that people have shared about this. Yeah,
and it would seem like it would be a good idea to have not one hardware wallet, but preferably you would have several of them. Would that be a good strategy?
Yeah, I think it's a good idea, right? So, I mean, if you get like 2 or 3 or 4 different hardware wallets, you can split up your Bitcoins or cryptocurrencies among multiple of them and hide them in different places. And it's generally good to decentralize and distribute your risk so that if one of them gets hit, you don't lose everything, right? In general, you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket. And it's the same for Bitcoin and cryptocurrency security.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Okay, well, Juan, you're giving us some good information. Those of you watching this, we're learning about hardware wallets and the importance of backing up your cryptocurrency. Juan Galt is helping us. And by the way, you might notice over his shoulder there, we have the crypto wallet, and that is right there, cryptohwwallet.com. Matter of fact, get your own pen and paper or note-taking device of choice. As I'm giving you this instruction right now, it can help you a lot. It's helped me. And you want to be on the safe side rather than being on the other side going, I wish I would have known that before I lost. Well, we don't want that timeline to occur, so we're going to give you an alternate timeline that lets you protect that. Going to cryptohwwallet.com, you can do it. And by the way, Juan, you were very gracious. You said you were going to offer our viewers today a special discount. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so the special discount that I have for you guys is juangalt.com. Discount code is Juan Galt, and it gets you 5% off on purchases over $100. Okay, so $100, 5% off. Now, the cool thing about these hardware wallets, and I like to show you
Yeah, we're
Kind
using
of what
Zoom right now, and you could share your screen and show us some things that you got. It'd be great. Tell us what you got there.
yeah, let me just,
As we bounce over there, we get a chance to see all the Zoom setup. See, this is the real way it works. And people that are working with technology know what we're talking about here.
yep.
So we're going to go over it. But remember that website, cryptohwwallet.com. Juan, I'll turn it over to you, and you can tell us about Ledger Nano. I'm seeing that on the screen now.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you. So this is the website, cryptohwwallet.com. And then we have, as I said, the top cryptocurrency wallets, hardware wallets in the industry. This one is KeepKey. This is kind of a new one. It's very interesting. They have some cool features, which are kind of, they're interesting. We'll be doing reviews in depth of every single one of them.
What features does KeepKey have? Just real briefly.
Yeah, I mean, it works like any other hardware wallet. It has actually a screen where you can see sort of the address that you're sending to, and it works by USB. It's very similar to other hardware wallets. One of the cool things is that it supports Ethereum, Litecoin, Dogecoin, a bunch of different cryptocurrencies, and it seems pretty easy to use. They're very new, so they're kind of low on stock, but they're kind of one of the hot kids, like the new kids in the block type of thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right, and there's a bunch of other stuff. I mean, we'll have to sort of go into more deeper conversations to kind of discuss them and sort of make context of them, right?
Sure.
But as you can see, the prices are not. This is not $1,000 product. This is not a $500 product, right? Like the Ledger Nano S, the one that I was selling, is $300 to $30 at retail price right now on its own. And the one that you got, this is the sort of the easiest sort of product to purchase is the 1799 product. And this is one of the sort of first iterations of Ledger Nano, and it does the job. It works. It's straight to the point. And it's a really good way to start if you're kind of just sort of exploring Bitcoin security or Bitcoin in general. So, I mean, when you think about it, if you put $1,000 into a Bitcoin to buy a Bitcoin, well, if you're going to keep growing that stash, at some point it might make sense to put, 5% of that value into a Bitcoin hardware wallet to, upgrade your security to a whole new level and with great ease of use. It's very cool. This is one of the best sellers, right? At Tracer. This is one of the first cryptocurrency hardware wallet companies that came out. $100, and it's got incredible reviews. All of this, a lot of it is open source. Perhaps all of it is open source in this wallet.
Yeah, that's the Trezor. Then spell that for us because it's not. It's a little different.
Sure, it's TREZOR Tracer.
Trezor, and that's a Z or Z as we'd say in the U.S. So TREZOR or Z if you're over elsewhere outside the U.S.
Canadian land, yeah. Yeah, and so that was really good. And then the other one that I really like is the Ledger Nano S, and this one's slick. It's a little bit cheaper, $70, and it's the same brand that from the one that I was showing you, but it's the next class of hardware wallets. And this one also supports Bitcoin, Ethereum, Dash, as well as other cryptocurrencies, some of the premium ones. Tracer also supports multiple cryptocurrencies now. So this is sort of a general direction that the industry is going in and supporting multiple crypto assets.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
All right. And so each of those have different strengths over some others. It'd be good to see. Now, there's one that looked like a little bit more there, $259. What was that one?
Yeah, so this is the flagship product by Ledger Nano right now, or Ledger the company. It's a Ledger Blue, and it's a personal security device. And this is kind of like a new product that I haven't kind of gotten my head around yet. But it's basically it's like a tablet with the design for, mission critical security, right? So I believe it can store your passwords, right? So you can sort of attach it to like a password manager, and it'll have sort of apps and wallets inside of it. So it's sort of like a tablet, but it's built for security on like many Android devices or tablets and stuff, which is they're not really built to deal with the kind of security that Bitcoin introduces to the information market, where you can actually have hundreds of thousands of dollars on the line on a hardware device. Mobile phones were not designed with that security in mind, right? And so while they certainly have certain respectable amount of security, when you talk about digital money, you're kind of talking about a new kind of game. So this is the product that they're introducing to the market, and it's pretty interesting. We'll be doing a review on it as well. But it's basically another kind of hardware wallet device that lets you do even more sort of sophisticated type of interactions or use different kind of technologies, right? Software products.
Okay, excellent. Well, thank you for sharing your screen. That's real helpful to have that. And remember, you can get those over there. You can probably see the Crypto HW wallet and be able to find out about that and all the fine people that are there from the other stores.
Yeah, that's right. Here's all the CEOs of the companies and stuff sort of vouching for Crypto HW wallet. So we are legit. They're an American company. They ship free shipping in the United States, and you can deal with them through customer service since most of these companies are European. So you have to, if you deal with them directly, you have to deal with international commerce and the delays with that. And we also accept Bitcoin, of course, right? As well as pretty much any cryptocurrency that's on shapeshift.com or shapeshift.io. So,
Excellent. All right. Well, thank you for sharing your screen there with us on that. We appreciate that. And now I want to ask you some help on practical matters for people that are traveling. Because when you're traveling, security is an issue, whether in the real world or now, of course, in the digital currency. Let's say someone's going to travel from one country to country A to country B, and they want to do that with privacy, security. What types of measures do you recommend that people would put in place for that security, where hardware wallets and other tools and other techniques would be applicable?
Yeah, I mean, I've traveled with hardware wallets and I haven't really had a problem, but that was maybe a couple of years ago. Actually, I did travel recently last summer to Canada, to Vancouver, and I didn't even notice what it was. I think I had it in my pocket or something, right? And they just went through the scanner, and this thing is encrypted inside the device, so you need a PIN code and stuff. So it's not like they can use magical scanning software to sort of grab it because it's encrypted, right? So we have a PIN code, but there's other kinds of sort of device, like even if they could scan it, I'm not even sure that's possible right now, but like just pure paranoid level security, you could you can have an encrypted password in there, or you can like usually like one thing that people are concerned about is like, what if the TSA grabs your phone and scans it, right? And this is like, some people are legitimately worried about that, and if you're a certain kind of activist or certain kind of individual, they might go after you at this level. And so what you can do is you just wipe out your Android device, and then you have this passphrase in your head or written in a notebook somewhere. Even if it's just in your head, you can just cross the line, and then restore back to your software wallet or back to a hardware wallet. If you buy, you can wipe the hardware wallet clean, go through the border, they'll look at it, there's not going to be anything in it. It's designed to kind of be able to do that because it's custom hardware, has custom sort of memory in it, and a little processor in it as well, right? And so you just sort of, actually, I think it's just custom software memory for this one with certain kind of processing lines, etc. Right? And so you just restore it on the other side of the border, right? There's other things you could do, which is cool. Like there's actually something called multi-signature. Okay, and this is another level which it's not really explored very much at the mainstream level, but I think we'll be seeing this kind of potential in the near future, where you could have somebody on the other side of the border, or your lawyer and your mom, and you need 2 out of 3 people to use their password in order to actually move your money from a Bitcoin address, right? So it's like a shared account as you would have in a bank, but it's actually secured by Bitcoin's cryptography sort of secured system, right? And so, if they get your password, they still can't move the money. They need your lawyers and or your mom's password, right? And at that point, you have a lot more security because it's not just your individual person that can be sort of pressured into compliance.
Yeah, that makes sense. A multi-sig, and there might be cases where that would be applicable, where you want to say, hey, if they got you and you had the password, they could get it. I remember hearing, I think it was Andreas Antonopoulos, a person who does a lot of speaking in the digital currency space, and he said, the $5 wrench could also be used. The $5 that they would put and use that wrench to beat you over the head until you give your password. If it's only in your head, you put it in there, you think, well, gee, is it worth dying over? Or this, a real crook, a real criminal that would be willing to kill you to get the money. But what you could do is, of course, make sure you put different amounts in there, have different wallets. And then if you had a multi-sig, you wouldn't be able to, because you say, look, it requires 2. And my spouse, my mother, my lawyer, whoever it might be, is over in the other place, and they don't have it. They're not here.
Yeah, they're not here. Exactly.
So it seems like that would be a good way to do it. Well, while there's a lot of good information there, you've given us some information literally that could save us thousands or even millions of dollars. We appreciate that. And say someone says, okay, I want to get in touch with you. I want to contact you. Got some questions. And of course, we know they can go to cryptohwwallet.com for information. How else can they get in touch with you if they have a question or want to just say hello?
Sure, you can go to juangalt.com. That's JUANG, like goat, 8LT.com. And you'll find all my social media there. You can reach out to me through email, and you can get just basically catch up to what I'm up to.
Ah, very good. Well, thank you so much for being with us today. This is valuable information. Really appreciate it and appreciate who you are. Thank you, Juan.
Thank you so much, Terry.
And for those of you watching, this is something that's very important. As you get into the cryptocurrency space and learn about Bitcoin, Dash, Ethereum, Litecoin, and a host of others that are out there and more to come, you want to know about security. What good is it if you get all that and then it's lost? Look into what Juan has done. I know him personally. I have worked with him. I am a customer of his, bought it. He was there to help me. Had a couple little questions. Not that there was anything wrong with the product, just me going, how do I do this? What do I do here? He was right there to help me through it. So this is a place you want to go. I highly recommend it. You'll be glad you did. I'm Terry Brock with terrybrock.com. Thank you for joining us today.